I'm here. Thank you, Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, for this opportunity again to be a light, try to at least, while I'm in this reality. Brethren, I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Shaikwab by Yisrael. Welcome to my channel where I just try to, I'm just a brother who believes in the Creator. And I just believe that our lives are a temporary thing and there must be a reason for it. And I've concluded that means that we should share it, that we should seek the Creator. And I think that there's much, much greater for people than what they have learned about. I think that we live in a reality where we have been led to believe that all there is now. I think a lot of people, they really feel that way. I want to give thanks to the Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, for having just this opportunity. I just try to minister to brethren who are like-minded. Hey, Elijah. Okay, you'll be listening. Good to see you, bro. I just believe that the Creator has given me the opportunity to try to reach out to brethren who are like-minded. My channel, it's not for everybody. And, I have a weird, I'm going to say something that's probably kind of weird for someone who does videos on YouTube, but this particular channel, I don't recommend it for everybody. I speak a language that's foreign to the world. I am sharing a certain type of learning that is specific for certain brethren, although anybody's welcome to subscribe to the things that are taught on this channel. And for this time, for this moment in time, I'm referring to the Oahspe Bible. The Oahspe Bible is a book that it was published in the 1800s. I believe it's the latest word from the Creator, given to his sons and daughters who will hear his voice, so that to give us a guidebook so that we can get an idea of what the Creator. I believe, I'm just finding out that the Oahspe, it even says so itself, that it's not, I forget what the wording it uses exactly, but it does not point to itself as infallible. I think is the sense that it gives to the reader, that it's not without some problematic, I would say, things. I'm trying to figure out another way to describe what the Oahspe, what it says about itself. It says some pretty unique things that you wouldn't think a book like that would say. It tells brethren who believe in it not to proselytize it, meaning not to try to recruit people. It's just basically for it. What the Creator does is he really leaves it all up to you if you want to receive it or not. I mean, he really just leaves it all up to you, tells you about your free will. Now, what I usually do is I try to acknowledge the angels of the daytime and the angels of the evening. Now, what I'm going to do is just scroll this book right here, where if you want, you can stop the video, you can read it. And instead of, I used to do the angels every day, but since I don't do the angels on the weekend, then I miss a couple of the angels. So it's in my mind to just go ahead and scroll it and then cover all the angels, so that if you want, you can stop the video and make a note of the particular angel based on the day of the week that you hold the Sabbath, because it says like the first day, this second day, the third day, and so on. So people, I believe they keep Sabbath different days. And so in order to cover everybody, I just like to scroll it and let people, and basically my agenda is just to give thanks, just give thanks to the angels who provide for us. We don't see them. We don't, we don't, we don't perceive them, but we know that they are there and that they do things in our reality that a lot of times that we, are not thankful for. I think that we live in a nation where it's hard for people, to be thankful because people are just trying to live. And it's I admit, man, it's hard on people. Hey, Sanat, peace, love, and light to you, sis. Good to see you. Peace, love, and light to you. Good to see you. I hope I bless both y'all, all of y'all, anyone who listens to the video today. I hope I say something that, it really, we as faithists, we don't have to just like barely make it. I mean, we can live on a higher level, a higher, what's a good word for lively, a livelier existence. We have something the Creator has given to us. And I'm just scrolling the screen just so I can cover all the angels of the daytime and angels of the evening. So we don't have to, we don't have to live a life of drudgery and monotony. And when you have this word, you should, I'm telling you, I don't know how to describe the thrill I get from reading this, from reading Radiance Anthology, reading the Third Testament, reading the Oahspe. And I perceive that the Creator, he may give us more. Right now, he's snapping us out of deity worship, idolatry. He's pulling us out of that. And I think that that's like just the beginning. I don't, one thing I realize, I think that everybody realizes kind of like is like in the Bible, it says if all the things that the Creator said and did were written down, the whole earth wouldn't be able to hold all the books. Now, I know the Bible says all the things that Jesus Christ did. I'm just saying the Creator because all things go back to the Creator. And the big thing, the big issue, we live in a big world, man. It's a lot of different spirits out there. People, have their own mindset. And what the Creator, all he's asking you to do is change your mind, man. Just change your mind. Change your mind and don't fight against the faith. Don't fight against things that you cannot see. Let the Creator, let him tell you what's unseen. And that's what's going on right now. He's telling us that those who are able to receive it are receiving it. And the Creator, I might even go into this in the reading. I don't know. I might have covered it on another video. He said that he was explaining the mystery of faith. And he gave like an analogy, like he said that when the spirit is in the womb, he said even before then, it's like their mind is made up, that they're going to believe, they're going to receive the Creator or not. And the events of our reality was only going to serve to confirm us one way or another. How do you like that, man? The things of life we was going to like make a decision. Yeah, I believe that. Some may say, yeah, I believe it. Some may say, no, I don't believe it. Can't receive it. And we don't need to look down on them either, because the Creator said he's got a plan for everybody to eventually ascend. We're gonna raise up and elevate in our spirit. He said that he is going to do it. I perceive that some will rise higher than others. I read in the Oahspe where, and I think I posted it in my room, something where Creator said, there may be a brother, there may be a brother, he does a lot of works. He does a lot of works. And I was reading an account where he talked about basically the city councils in the spiritual. It's called Horeb in the Bible. Horeb in the Bible is what you have to do when you read the Oahspe. You have to sometimes substitute words. Like, to give an example, he talks about the div, D-I-V. And then he talks about the diva, D-I-V-A. Now, if you just switch the words to fit your train of thought, you could say like the div, the D-I-V, would be like the prime minister. And then the diva, when you read the diva, it could be like the parliament, like the mayor of a city, and then he's got a city council, And basically what you find, you read Oahspe, and things on earth, they resemble things in heaven, like they always say, as above, so below. That's basically what it is. When you're looking at the world, man, they've been set up like things in heaven. The Oahspe, it describes how to structure the place where the council meets, and it talks about forming a crescent, and the speaker would be in the middle of the crescent. They got the same thing in this world. You look at like the UN and other international governing bodies, and they're set up the same way. It lets you know that they know about things in the spiritual. And I have to think that it's the fallen gods that let men know. This the fallen gods that mimic the things in the spiritual for the purpose of their own earthly kingdom. The structure is just like in the spiritual. I was reading in the Oahspe, and it said that basically our reality, man, is the difference between this and the atmosphere. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, is we experience the same things, but in the atmosphere, only spiritually. It's like the body is a womb, and it eventually gives birth to the spirit. At some point, we leave our bodies, and then the Oahspe, it says we're born again. We're born again in spirit. It calls us Essenes, young spirits. So like my parents, they would be described as Essenes right now in the spiritual. They're going to school. They're learning about, right now they're described as Essenes, newborn spirits, where you learn for a certain amount of years how to live in the spiritual realm. And I think that lasts like 5 years. 5 years. See, these are the things that people like me, we want to know. Types of things that I'm talking. I mean, it's amazing to us that people don't feel like we do. Don't get a thrill, don't get a kick out of the things that we get a big kick out of. It's amazing to us. I mean, we can't, that's hard on us, kind of like, we in this reality, man, and the Oahspe is telling us about the tetracts and how it was given unto men at a certain period of time. And I think it was saying that Anromanius is the god that gave us the tetracts, which are like evil influences. They're like vanity, stubbornness, lusters, enjoyment of wicked, loving to be bad, wickedness, wicked devices. Those are called the tetracts. And it is the inheritance of all men to be up under those vibrations. I mean, you can't deny it, man. That's all over the world. That's what causes wars, and attitudes and the Hebrew, the tetracts. Now, the Bible is not going to say, it's not going to tell us. It's not going to tell us of the unseen things like that. And you know what? I got an idea. I want to say it before I forget it. I want to say it before I forget it. Now, this might bless somebody. Somebody might get a blessing out of this. Let me digress for just a second, okay? Hey, if you know somebody that's, struggling financially, I mean, man, this came to my mind. I thought, you know what? I might financially, I don't really have a need. I don't really have a need financially, but I thought of something that might be a blessing to people where you probably could make some money and just do it yourself. Maybe you're not working. Maybe you are financially strapped. And I thought to myself, I was taking my herbals and I said, you know what? What these are basically drinks that are made from powder. These are drinks made from powder. Remember the other day I was showing you the herbals that Brother Silas sent me, Brother Shalom, and I was reading the ingredients, and it was filled with all kind of names that you can't pronounce, which let you know right there how effective that stuff is. If you can't, if you can't pronounce it, it's got to be good. You know what I mean? And I was thinking, I said, what's in this? Remember, I was showing y'all the ingredients. I went to Amazon and I added them all to my cart. And then I began to think, you know what? You can make this yourself. I don't mean to, I don't mean to hurt the brother's business, Brother Selaw's business. I don't mean to cut into his sales, but I was saying, man, you can make this at home. You can buy the herbals, look at the instructions of how to mix it, so many teaspoons, so many water for this herbal. You put that in the jar, so many teaspoons for so much amount of water for this herbal, because it's got like 18, or 15 to 18 ingredients in the herbal drink that the brother sent me. And you get the powder form, and then you measure how much water, and then you add it together. You do a little research. Maybe a family member and they got a problem with their spleen or their liver or their kidneys, and you can just do a little research and find out what things really help benefit somebody in that condition. You can buy the herbs, mix it, put it together, and then sell it. Get you somebody to make you labels, what ingredients you have in there. I mean, the studies have already been done, so far as what plants are most effective for this or that. But I thought to myself, man, that's a pretty good idea, You can do it yourself. You can buy the product, you can mix the product, you can bottle the product, and you can ship it out and sell it. But it was just a thought I had because, and I don't know, we in the Cosmic era now, and I think that people are going to turn more. We're going to get away from eating dead things, eating the flesh, and turning towards eating life, which is the plant, the green things that come from the ground. I think that that's one way the Creator is really rescuing us in our day and age, and so that we can more clearly hear the spiritual, because he said that's the benefit of eating vegetarian. Eating vegetarianly is somehow it allows you to hear spiritual things better. I mean, it barely makes sense to me. And it makes sense to me because when you look at the animal kingdom and you see how they act, and I think that's the point that the either the Oahspe, or I heard somebody say it, or but it makes sense. You look at the carnivorous animal kingdom, and all you see is videos on YouTube, man. Them animals are walking around looking for somebody to eat, and eating each other, killing each other, and the Oahspe, it says that vibration, it comes from the result of being carnivorous. And you brother know that we're called to be herbivorous. I think there's something to it. I think there's something that's going to separate brethren, and the world's going to see and learn. But I'm going to be reading something really good today, man. I mean, it's going to be really, really good. Hey, Bron Choki, peace, love, and light to you, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Hope I bless you with what I'm going to read. Basically, going to talk about, I mean, you just got to shake your head, man. I mean, the way the Creator he can give you words that, and people like they trip on the fact that a white man wrote the Oahspe, and they're gonna let that keep them from wisdom, because the blindness in this reality, the blindness of prejudice, racism. It's a strong aphrodisiac, man. And I know, history's got a lot to do with that. And I'm not saying that, you just brush it aside. I think that the Creator, he got his own way of recompensing everything that, all the afflictions of that one race has put over another. I think the Heavenly Father, he's got something for that. And, one of the things I recall reading is he said that, when you look at like those near-death experiences, you hear people say one common denominator is, how there's a saying in the world that you're going to feel their pain. When you cause that pain to somebody, one way you have to make recompense for that. Now, that's what they were saying. And I do recall something in the Oahspe or a brother brought it out, or I think I read it, where the Creator said, we will have to make recompense one way or another. If we don't do it now, change our mind now, repent now, we will do it when we cross over. He said that, because I remember the account the brother was mentioning, and I think I do recall reading it, where he said the slave is going to have his way with the oppressor. I think Brother Selah was talking about that. He said the slave is going to have his way with the oppressor in the crossover, in the spiritual realm. And that sound like the characteristic of the Creator to me. That sound like justice. So that right there, that alone should cause a brother to turn away from, and just learn to examine himself, and don't let that vibration come over you. That's a tetrach. And you, brethren, you can look around. You see the effect. You see the influence that it has on the world. The tetrachs, man, the evil vibration. You see how strong it is. And plus it feel good, to damn your brother to hell, to afflict people. And the Creator, he said something interesting too. He said he sounded like there was going to be a time where he was going to remove it. He gave it to us to test us, and he's going to remove it. It's like a test where we were put. I forget who it was that got it started. I want to say Anra Manius. It might have been somebody else, but I think that's who it was. Oh, you know what? Shoot, man. I forgot to put the link in the room. I want to put the link in the room in case anybody want to. My channel, I like to try to, I want to, my dream is to make this channel interactive. I don't want to do all the talking. I My prayer to the creator is that he'll make it so that my channel, it just becomes, it really just becomes your channel. Even if you have a different subject, but you feel like you can say something. If you want to give a testimony, let me put the link in the room. Okay, there's the link. Let me show it. All right, good enough. So I want to make this room to where it just turned into a faithless community. You know, you want to share something that, you know, to make it to where brethren can come to the channel and then really just talk to one another about maybe you going through something, or you wanted to talk, you wanted to share something, or you wanted to give a lesson. That's what I want to make this channel. So I think I'm gonna leave it there for the scrolling, maybe scroll a little bit more than the room, and then see if my sister is giving me a metaphysical word, and if not, then I'm just go to the reading. I was reading in the book of Sue, and I just loved it, man. You know, I always love. I mean, as people in my room on Facebook, is I know they will tell you. I don't know if they will tell you, but I stay up at night. I don't hardly sleep at all because I like to read. I feel like the creator is talking to me through his word, and you can't get enough of that. So just scrolling the Essene Gospel of Peace. I primarily for the angels, the knowledge of the angels. Okay, so that's good enough for that right there. Now here's my room on the Facebook where I just try to minister. I try, and again, I want to say this again, man. I want to say this again because I read it last night. I love it, man. I just love it. The creator, he said that just because you do more works, it don't make you any better than a weak brother who may not do nearly the amount of works that you do. And the creator said, I may choose that weaker brother over you for my heavenly counsel. That's what he said, man. You know, because we got it in our mindset that, I mean, it's good to have works. You know, that's cool. You know, and I made a statement I should have made the other day, talking about how I want to be a God. I don't think anybody in his right mind would not want to be. But I think that maturity, according to the creator, is when you don't care. You know, you don't care about trying to reach for that, you know, power and glory, or, you know, that type of thing. I think that the creator, as long as you just are who you are, he just wants you to rejoice in the fact that there's only one you. You're the only one he made or ever will make. It's getting a kick out of your own self, rejoicing in your own individuality. I think, you know, I keep reading the Oahspe, man, and, you know, he said, don't look down on, you know, I love the way he teach you, don't look down on people. Just don't do it. Now, I know in the Oahspe, he talked about Uzians and the drugs. These are the unenlightened. And it could give you the vibration to look down on people. Creator just won't allow it. You can't, I mean, he just don't give you that permission, man. You know, I mean, I I look for it. He don't give it to you. So it seems like he want you to just be rejoice in who you are. Be comfortable within your own flesh. Rejoice in your own, the way, your own uniqueness. Rejoice in it. So serve one another. That's like the whole big picture right there, and he'll do the rest. You know, matter of fact, here's a ministry I have where I try to reach out to orphans and the elderly and handicapped. Well, there's my information. And then I have a room for brethren that you want to come in. And I like to try to share to you. I like to post things for people to get a kick out of. I like to try to share things for, from like Radiance Anthology, Oahspe. I'm pretty much sharing from Oahspe right now. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and scroll a little bit so brethren can get an idea of just try, I just try to share something. Here's a question I asked about the uh, uh, the Bible, and how can you tell when it's the Creator is referring to or a false God? And think about that. How can you tell? I mean, the Oahspe, it really helps to. I mean, that's one of the things where it removes the veil on uh, on spirituality. One of the things that the weaknesses of the Bible is that it cannot teach you the difference between a God, Lord, and angel, who's righteous and who's not. And those terms, they get conflated in the world, and that's what strengthens idolatry and deity worship. Here's something I found in the Oahspe. Pretty interesting, man. Check this out. Something I found in the Oahspe. Check this out. And the Ashar shall make a record of every mortal as to the grade of his wisdom and good works. And when a mortal dies and his spirit is delivered to the Asaphs, the record shall be delivered with him and the Asaph. And the Asaph receiving shall deliver his spirit along with the record to that place in the heavens which is adapted to his grade, where he shall be, look at that, put to work and to school, according to the place of the resurrection which I created. So you're going to go to your people. You know how you are, those are the people you're going to. Do you want to go to people who they are just, you know what I mean? They just only see things their way. They, unable to compromise. They easily offended, overly sensitive, make you watch your step, what you say, and what you do around them. If that's the vibration you're under, you're going to go to those people because they are your people. But if you're a brother and sister and you got the ability, to change your mind, man, and work for others, and to have, if you sincerely are able to have empathy, I mean, if you can just change your mind, man, you are home free. If you could just somehow change your mind. And then the practical guidebook, the Oahspe, it helps you, it gives you a template, like be this way, think this way, do these things. Because ultimately, what you're doing them for is so that we all ultimately really are motivated by, wanting to do the highest good for ourselves. I mean, you find that you're spiritual. You can receive these things that the Oahspe is talking about, and and your spirit is telling you, it's witnessing to you. Matter of fact, I read something. Do you know I read something in the Oahspe where it said the Creator? Matter of fact, I may even be reading that in the book of Sue. Man, I started reading a couple of paragraphs and I just couldn't. Man, sometimes my spirit jump. I say, man, this is what I want you to share. You got to share this, And that's why at night I usually get the inspiration of the video that I want to go into the next day. Because I'm up reading, fellowshipping with the Creator and meditating and praying, and I just get a kick out of the whole thing, man. Especially around nighttime. I just go into my own zone where it's really the creator. He just ministering to you. He just blessing your soul, man. He telling you, turn, just keep on. I'm here. I'm looking at you. I'm the one that's giving you the power, the ability to go day by day, bearing fruit, trying to be a light. That's me. That's not you. Creator saying that's me. And this supply, it ain't gonna never run out. As long as you just change your mind, subscribe to the light, you home free. You home free, man. Something that comes to my mind real interesting is what he said about the games, like sports. I really find I'm really intrigued by that. You know that? I'm really intrigued. Have you heard what what the Oahspe says about games? How he uses that to draw who he calls the drunks and the Uzians away from. Matter of fact, I want to try to. Man, I don't know if I want to start dancing. I want to find that where he talks about, maybe you brother know about it, maybe you read it. It is so interesting, man. He said he uses the games to distract the drunks and Uzians from influencing the faithists. Correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody in the chat, you know what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to, correct me if I'm wrong. But he said he uses, it's like the creator, he don't use force and violence, but he persuades. He uses distractions to draw the drunks and Uzians away from influencing the faithists. I don't know exactly how that works. Now, you know how popular sports is. I mean, people flip out. They go out in the cold weather. I remember one time, I still live out here, and I used to be homeless right near the Oakland Coliseum, where the Oakland Raiders used to play. And do you know that on Friday, I'll never forget it, man. Friday evening, do you know they would start tailgating? They get off of work and they go to the tailgate. The game ain't till Sunday. They out there Friday afternoon. And they tailgating. And it's a line of people trying to get into the parking lot. Wait until Sunday, man. People go out in the freezing cold. You see what I mean? And the creator said he allows that to keep people. It's like from what I understand, he said he do that to keep people preoccupied. I think it's like he's saying, if you want to be distracted from the things of the spirit, then he makes a way for you to be distracted. He's going to give you a way. See, we get tested for your behind. You faithless, us faithless. I mean, he's going to really test your spirit to overcome, because, it's a strong, the flesh, it's got a pull on it, a downward vibration, a earthbound vortex that if we're called to over. That's the overcoming that Revelation chapter 2 is talking about. To he that overcomes will I give a name written that no man or something, a white robe, and he shall walk with me in white, So that's all our reality is. If you want to go in this direction, if you want to go in that direction, that's what our whole existence is about. And the angels, they record it. And like I read here, they get your record. It says when a mortal dies, it's just like the military. When you report into a duty station, you carry what's called your service record with you, and you got to present it at the front desk of where you're reporting into. And then they assign somebody to show you the sleeping berth, the place where you're going to live, where you're going to sleep. And they start introducing you to the division heads and who's who. Same way in the spiritual. It says that your record, it says the Ashars, those are our guardian angels. It says they make a record of every mortal as to what our grade is, and our wisdom and our good works. They make a record. So we all got a record. And then when we pass over, it says our spirit is it's like the HR says, okay, man, here's Iquab. Here's his service record. He's all yours. Iquab, was nice knowing you, man. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Well done, Iquab. It's all over with. Now it's time for you to begin your real training in the spirit. It says the Shars, they give you a record to the ASAPs who take your record. They check you in, so to speak. You go to a hotel and they check you in. They take your reservation and then they show you to your room. Those are the ASAPs. And then it says the record shall be delivered with him to the ASAPs, and the ASAP receiving shall take your spirit along with the record into that place in these heavens, which is adapted to your grade, where he shall be put to work, and to school according to the place of the resurrection which the Creator created. So we go to our assignment. Okay, this is your record. Here are your people. Here's your grade. The grade of your people, they're over there. If you look at this stadium over there, those are all people of your grade. So I'm going to be taking you over there. I personally want to know what's going to become of me. It's the only thing that motivates me. I believe that it's that way with, faiths. One thing that's at our very core of our being is that we used to be somewhere and we would like to go back there. I don't know. Now, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I hope I don't sound kooky. You know what I mean? Check it out. This is my room. So join my room. I pray that you can be lively, though, and communicate and share, which very few brethren do. Very, very, I don't want to be negative, man, but I really wish that, I've had this room I used to have the other room for like 8 years, and then I had to prune it, and now this room, and I don't think I'll ever be, I don't know. It's just, there's a verse in the Bible where it says you shouldn't let the rain keep falling on you if you're not going to do anything. If you're not going to try to bear any fruit and the rain keep falling on you, if it bears thorns and briars, it says that it's no good except to be cut down and thrown in the fire. The purpose of rain, the purpose of light, the purpose of knowledge is to get you to elevate at some point, man. A matter of fact, I may come across something I posted where the Creator, he said after it's sufficient. Matter of fact, I think this might be it right here. Let's see. No, that's not it. There's something where he says, I think this is it right here. Check it out. Let me read it. It says, at the termination of the dominion of my God and his lords, They shall in these bound heavens, where we are right now, they shall gather together all those angels. And I think that's talking about people, mortals, faithists, who have been prepared in wisdom and strength for resurrection. Now, wait a minute, I could be wrong. It could be atmospheric angels, mortals who have crossed over and become angels. And the preparation they go through, it says, those who have been prepared in wisdom and strength for resurrection to my ethereal kingdoms. That's the high kingdom. That's the kingdom above atmosphere. It says, and these angels shall be called brides and bridegrooms to Jehovah, for they are mine in my service. Now, that's not the one I was looking for, but it does kind of go along with, just basically goes along with what our future is and how we're here. We're given a grade, and then we're placed in our place of our desire, or the places equivalent to the grade that we are. And let me see, I probably won't be able to find it. Let's see. Okay, here's another verse where it's talking about this. It's talking about the spiritual. God said, in all these matters, whichever a man or woman has put away self-desires for self's sake, serving the Father by laboring for others, is on the road to wisdom. And if the records show a sufficient time for growth in such a man or woman through which these virtues become organic, then choose that person, for Moab shall be composed of such. Moab is like the White House. Okay, I have to use something that's in this reality that can give a picture of something that is elevated in its position in this reality. Moab is like the high-raised city council. It's like heavenly spiritual council. It's like let's say it was like an elevator, and the elevator had 30 floors. Let's say Atmospheria stops at the 3rd floor. Okay. And then the Ethereum realm, it goes up to like all the way to the top, with realms in between, from what I can understand. And here the verse is saying that people who labor, that's another thing. I was saying the other day, man, I pray that, with this knowledge that we get right now, that faithism, it don't turn into Christian faithism where you just hang out. You just hang out doing nothing, and you just hang out doing nothing. You bearing no fruit, no liveliness going on, thinking that when it's said and done, that you're gonna waltz right into some big, you have your own planet and big mansion and a bunch of servants, and the deception of Christianity. We are here to labor, to work on ourselves, to change our mind, to overcome the tetracts, the wicked vibrations that we are all under. And all of us got them. All of us are under those vibrations. We can't shake them, man. We can only ameliorate them. We can only limit them until the Creator removes that. He's got to remove those tetracts, man. He gave them to us so that we could experience them, and he's got to remove it. And we have to fight them. We have to fight that, man. And it seemed like our poor people, the Hebrews, the Negroes, it seemed like we got that bad, brother. It seemed like we got the tetracts on us. And you can't really blame us because we're an afflicted people. We've been in captivity and slavery to the white man. He destroyed us, and we got a lot to overcome. I don't know how it works, man. I do not know how it works. We got one hell of a road to climb. We got it. Man, I'm telling you, I guess the more you overcome, the more glory, the more honor, the more there is for you. That's the only way I can overstand it. So about time for the reading. So I'm gonna scroll a little bit more. Let me see if I can find a metaphysical word. I have a sister that likes to share a metaphysical word. Here's that verse I was talking about. Check it out how the Creator, he don't always look at the brother who seems to be up front, bearing all the fruit. That ain't what the Creator said. Look what he said. He said, do not seek for the most learned or most prayerful to be members of this high council, the high council called Horeb. It was like the elevated spiritual heavenly place of the council. And he was in this verse, he's picking or showing who he desires to be a part of that elevated council. And he says, he's telling the angels are the gods, do not seek for the most learned or the most prayerful to be members of this council called Horeb or Moab. It says, but choose those who rank highest in assimilating to Jehovah. Okay, so brethren who are all about bringing other brethren together. Okay. It says, but choose those who rank highest in assimilating to Jehovah, coming to Jehovah, facilitating the light, spreading, that sort of thing. He said, choose those who rank highest in assimilating to Jehovah and to their fellows, for these are the first to become gods and goddesses. Jehovah says, a strong man may do more works than a weak one, and yet the latter may stand fairer in my sight. A weak man who doesn't work as hard as a strong man. He says, I open the way to the weak and to the strong, to the learned and to the unlearned. How about that? How about Jehovah, man? It's like you go to the pet store, pet shop, and some people wonder, why do you pick that one? I mean, he's sick. He's crippled. The dog is ugly, I mean, it's just like in the world, man, he see a woman, and other men wouldn't have nothing to do with her. Find no beauty in her, find no attraction whatsoever. But yet she drives that one man crazy. Man, the man can't even sleep at night for the sake of her. She's done put the mojo on him, and there ain't no reason, no rhyme or reason why he falls for her. And the Creator said, yep, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. You may think that brother is ahead of you because you're looking at him. You see him always doing YouTube videos and doing ministry, and you think that he ahead of you, but he's not. I'm choosing you. Yeah. That's the Creator. He's saying that right here. I love it personally. To me, it's like the thing that we can do, we just have to love who we are and just be who you are, not trying to look for any reward or anything. If you got it, you got it, man. If you got it, just be glad. If you got it, you got it, and just leave it alone. So I just thought that was interesting. Now, I don't think that, let me see. I'll scroll a little faster. All right. So anyway, that's my room. I like to minister to brethren who are like-minded, who also get a kick out of the word, like to respond to it lively. So now we can stop that, and I can go to the book of Sue because it's about time for the reading. So also, I didn't even see Ace and S said, Brother Cosmin Cal had a teaching on that. On this verse right here, did he say basically the same thing Do you remember what his understanding was, Ace and F? Well, on that verse that I was just talking about that he said he did a video on, do you recall what his understanding was on it? If you can, just put it in the chat. I'd like to know what his, see, that's another thing too, man. We got all kinds of brethren. That's why I put their descriptions in the description area. I put their links in the description area. Their link should be in there unless I forgot about it. But you may like a different flavor. See, there's a brother that can share in a way that you really resonate with. We each got like our own kind of flavor to where this brother here or that brother that, the way he presents it, that's the creator. He's basically letting us choose what spice we like on our food, how we like it presented. We don't all have the same approach. That's what makes this thing even more beautiful. So about time for the reading of the word. Now, the reading of the word, the name of the video is The Reason for Things. Because when I do the reading here, it's the reason for things, man. The whys of things. Why this? How come that? How does this, that's what you got to love, man. I mean, that's the creator for you. Now, shoot. I wonder what chapter was I looking at? I might have forgotten the chapter that I wanted to read from. Let me see if I can find it first. It's from the book of Sue. The book of Sue. Yeah, some sister was telling me that, like, how the Oahspe, it calls itself like not 100% anointed or something like that. And some sister was saying because there are deceiving, it's like, how did she describe them? Like there are like spiritual, like counsels in the spirit that can affect even the Oahspe here it is right here, the book of Sue. All right. She was saying, now I don't know. She was saying something about spirits that can influence the channeling of the Oahspe. Now, she said something about the book of Saphat or Saphat as an example. And I would have to think it has something to do with elitism, like something to do with elitism. And of course, that's not the Oahspe. In other words, she was saying how, I don't know where she got her information from, but she, I think she was asking a question. I don't know if she's 100% sure that there are spirits that can intervene, that have intervened in the channeling of the Oahspe when it was being automatically written, that she wondered if there was a possibility that it could have been interfered with by certain, spiritual beings. I don't know if that's true. I didn't really flesh it out, but I know the Oahspe says that it says something like it's not without 100% accuracy, I think. And it may have been referring to these spirits that were able to influence the channeling of this work. which I think that it'll be exposed if that's the case, but I just thought it was interesting that she brought that out. Anyway, I think this is where I wanted to start from. Now, I think I was going to start in chapter 3, but I'm gonna pick it up in chapter 1 because so we can get the full context of as we go along. Now, the thing that I'm trying to focus on is how the creator through Sue just breaks it down, man. The reason for things just breaks it down. I hope that you probably can see the screen, can read the words real good. And again, let me say this before I get started. If I say something, if you want to come on and you want to comment, feel free, because the main purpose of this channel is to get where brethren, they come on and we have discussion with one another. We just simply talk to one another. We become a big discussion group. And that's how it'll blow up. As people see brethren coming on and talking and sharing and without being judged or without being made to look foolish because you believe something. And, you know, as brethren see that, you know, you're free to comment and to gain knowledge off of the overstanding of other brethren. I mean, when you have that type of atmosphere, that's what people crave. They crave that, where they know they're not going to be made to look foolish because of something they don't, you know, don't have to worry about brethren, you know, bullying you and telling you what you believe, what you think is wrong. I mean, the best that any of us really can do, man. I mean, if we have any knowledge, we got it from the Creator. It ain't even ours. So the best that we can do is to offer. I mean, it may very well be facts, but to couch it as the way you see it, because you don't want to shut the other brother or sister down and make them subscribe to how you see it. And the truth is stand on its own. And so if you present it like the way I see it, if it's powerful enough, it's going to do the work on its own to where you don't have to sledgehammer somebody to see it your way. You know, you just offer your opinion and the truth should come out. It should work, do the rest on its own. Anyway, the reading of the word, the book of Sue, son of Jehovah. May the Creator bless the reading of his word. Let me see. Can I make this bigger and give it more of the screen? Okay, let's see how this works. May the Creator bless the reading of his word. Chapter 1, being the second cycle after the flood. Verse 1, it says, make it bigger. Make it a lot bigger. It says, Jehovah spoke in the gardens of Oahspe precinct of Sue, Orion chief. Now, an Orion chief, those are like, you know what I mean? It's like, let me see. Orion chief, they're like, you know, the kings. The Orion chief is like the king over others. Orion chief, high-raised beings. Jehovah spoke in the gardens of Oahspe, precinct of Sue. Sue is an Orion chief in the Ethereal firmament, saying, Sue, my son, what of the red star, the far-off earth? Behold, her harvests are blighted. She has become barren and imparting immortal souls to my unending realm. So earth was slowing down, sending people to the second resurrection. first, second resurrection to the Ethereal realm. If we're stating that correctly. Sue heard the voice and he said, "In your name, O Jehovah, I will summon my gods of Hoy and Izaraka." Verse 3, swift messengers departed, and Sue, quick perceiving God of two worlds in the Ethereal Semar, foresaw the importance of the coming red star, the earth. Red star is the earth. He said, "This with my gods of Hoet and Izaraka, who will become my Swiss, who will come in swift speed, shall be the second deliverance." Then came Li Wing, god of Hoet, and presently Sivian, goddess of Izaraka, and they stood before Jehovah's throne. Sue said, "Jehovah has spoken. Behold, the red star no longer brings forth sons and daughters to Jehovah's realm. She is weak and unstrung and out of tune and comes this way." And I said, "In your power and wisdom, O Jehovah, I will visit the red star. 6 years will I stand on her soil and course her heaven, and I will give such potency to her confused gods and lords, as will make a billion sing for joy. To accompany me, I have called you, behold, I have charts and maps of her heaven and her corporal parts, and a history of her as yet young adventures in the field of worlds." Then spoke Li Wing and Sivian, saying, "To do Jehovah's will and yours, behold, we have come to you. Give us to fulfill whatever you will." Sue said to the swift messengers, "You have heard. Go proclaim my will throughout my Ethereal world and summon up from Ithivius 100 million skilled volunteers. When the red star crosses the wing of Izaracha, we will go forth in power and land on her troubled parts in the sea of golden light." Chapter 2. In the Areniska of Portan of the Ethereal worlds and division of Hoet and Izaraka flew the call of the god for volunteers, of which a more welcome sound is not heard in high heaven than to do Jehovah's will. These people are elevated spirits, man. They love to serve. Let me digress for 30 seconds. That's where you Virgos, man, you got a step up, because that's the sign of the servant. That's something that they can do more than likely better than anybody else, to serve others. It's within them. I was talking to a lady. I was sharing the story of a lady I was talking to the other day. And she was a Virgo. And she told me she was struggling with wanting to commit suicide. But with all her afflictions, man, she was still true to her vibration. She said that in her bag, she had some paper cups, some things that you make cupcakes in, and that she was doing it for somebody. And people always speak their vibration. They always speak it, man. They use keywords to describe themselves. It never fails, man. When you talk about people's vibration, their zodiac sign, they always come with key words, and they glorify the Creator. It lets you know that things ain't done haphazardly, that He makes people that way for the organization and administration of His heavenly bodies. See, that's all we read about here. We read about organization. We read about specific duties assigned to spirits. There's an orderliness here. That's the Ahuan Mazdian law, where there's order, there's instruction, there's unity, all under the Ormazdi law, which is the ascending of the spiritual of the mortals and the way it's done. Anyway, to serve one another, man, when it's in your spirit, and you're able to do it, man, you're home free, because that's the whole big picture right there. get your focus off of you and put it on how you can brighten, you can do something that will make somebody else praise the Creator. Boy, you home free now. You know, you really done it now. It says, and with the voice, it says, the call for volunteers is going out, and these people are extremely glad. They say that they are more than willing to do Jehovah's will. And with the voice and call, there rose up hosts from every quarter and from every subdivision, till the complement stood ready for the great work. And yet so vast were the fields and arcs of Israel that the 100 million chosen were only a small fraction compared to those left uncalled. So the call is going out. It's like the God is saying, soon is saying, I need volunteers going to the earth, the red star, to raise them up so that they can elevate in spirit. And 1 million volunteers, all of us, you can't do that in this reality. When the call go out, you know what I mean? You know, the the labor board need volunteers to renovate the church this weekend. Does anybody want to volunteer? You know, everybody, oh no, man, I got the game this weekend. I can't make it, man. Maybe some other time, you know. Oh man, that's the one day that I scheduled something, you know what I mean? Like in the Bible, it talks about everybody had an excuse. It's a shame. That's the way it is. And the chosen God, coming near the throne of suit and Aoit, the 100 million formed in squares and stars. And the chosen God took his place at the head and front, looking to the low horizon where rose the red star, the sick earth. How do you like that? The sick earth. We got a footnote here. It says, that is Sue, who was chosen by Jehovah to lead the mission. Note that the word God can be used to refer to anyone of that rank or higher in Orion Chief. For once having attained the Godhead, it is never lost or set aside. Once attaining Godhead, it's never lost or set aside. And now the builders who had measured the elements lying in the root of the earth formed their crescent ship of fire and equipped it with mantles, curtains, and banners, created of it a vessel of beauty and ornament as well as service. Verse 4, hardly was the ship completed when Jehovah's light encompassed it on all sides, so that what was beautiful before was now illuminated, sparkling and bright as the sun, and which in golden colors, for such was the quality of the heat of the heavens created in this region. The heat, the atmosphere in the heavens, the Ethereal heavens, the rarefied air of the Ethereal heavens, the rarefied atmosphere. Verse 5, when Sue entered the ship, the voice of Jehovah came, saying, another cycle has come and gone on the earth and her heaven. But still they fall to barrenness before the succeeding dawn. Go now, O Sue, my son, and give a wider range to the tetrarchs of both angels and mortals. Now, this I don't understand. It's like increase. It's like you say, now let's see. There ain't hardly no harvest coming from the earth, so I'm going to increase the affliction. It sounds like that's what he's saying to me here. Does any brother have anyone want to comment on this? You see that? It sounds like he's saying spread to make the affliction greater. If there's hardly a harvest, why make the affliction greater? He says, go now, O Sue, my son, and give a wider range to the tetrarchs of both angels and mortals. It's like he's saying, increase the affliction of angels and mortals. Remember the tetrarchs, the bad attitudes, the negative vibrations that all the earth is under? He's saying make it wider. Why is he saying make it a wider range? Is that to make people more sensitive to their spiritual need? Because I think we're going to read here where the Creator says in order to get man to elevate, he gives them affliction. I think one of the examples was that men were hungry on a mass scale, and somebody had to step in and fill the void. And so it sparked invention to meet the need of the people and their suffering. It sparked a need for a invention that can help meet the masses' need. That's how men have elevated. There was a need, somebody thought about it, they focused on it, and they were able to create something that met the need of the masses of people. So it sounds like that's what he's saying here. He says, go now, sue my son, and give a wider range of tetrach to both men and angels, angels and mortals. He says, give a greater scope to tyrants, kings, and queens on earth, and greater to self-gods, self-lords, and Hada, and more responsibility. So it's like Creator's saying, there's already no harvest. I'm going to make the affliction greater for everybody. Kings, queens, self-gods, self-lords, in Hada. I mean, they already, if you're in Hada, you got it tough, man. You know, make it wider, spread it wider, greater scope. Why? Why is that? He says, then all hands entered the Ethereal ship, singing and rejoicing, observed by countless millions, come to wish them a haven of joy on their 6 years visit to the corporal earth. So they got their instructions, increase the tetrachs, here are the people. The harvest is hardly none. That's why we have to do these things. So they get on the ship, they come into the earth, and it says, Su said, the God Su, he said, in your name, O Jehovah, and by virtue of your power vested in me, my host shall go forth at my command. My host shall go forth at my command. Cut loose, you gods, and you ship, born of heaven, to the red star of the earth. Go. And Su stretched forth his hands and waved them, and lo, the mighty ship of heaven turned on its axis, cutting loose from the high firmament, and it turned with its great curtains and banners, sailing gracefully and swiftly through the blue center. The music of the Esnars swelled and rolled along on the fears of many worlds, and seeing the mortals were live countless millions of spectators viewing the marvelous speed, power, and brilliant colors of the great ship. Faster and faster, she sped on till nearing Chinvat. So it's like they're coming from the 50th floor of the elevator down to the 3rd floor of the elevator. It says she sped on, she's getting closer to the 100th floor, nearing Chinvat from the Ethereal realm and going lower. Is speeding on, is nearing Chinvat. Chinvat is where spirits are separated. It's like Chinvat is above Atmospheria. Chinvat is the realm of high-raised brethren. The bridge of Chinvat, remember we talked about that? The bridge, brother, you want to cross that bridge. If you can cross that bridge, you are home free, man. If at some point you cross that bridge, oh man, it's all good. That's our goal. All of us want to cross the bridge of Chinvat. See, you see the importance of our reality, of our life right now. It seemed like a long way off. We ain't never going to make it. Man, I'm telling you, it's going to be 2049 before we even know it. That's the next great harvest for those who are alive and remaining at that time. 2049, you better know that's the next harvest, right? That is the next, what is it? Let me see, 2024, 2034, that's 10 years. 2044, that's 20 years. 29 years, and that will be the 200-year harvest from the beginning of Cosmin. There's going to be a harvest in 2049. That's 29 more, 29 more years. There's going to, remember, I think it's the Ahua Mazdi law. It says 200 years a harvest, 400 years a harvest, 600 years afterwards a harvest, 500 years, and then there's another harvest. Creator said he gave the earth 6 harvests, I think, or correct me if I'm wrong, 6 generations of harvest. It says, faster and faster she sped on till nearing Chinvat, which now cut sharp into the fields and forests of Izaraka. I know it's hard language now, reading it now, but watch, it's going to pick up. I'm getting ready to pick up here, and the good fruit of this word, over which was potent the name of Su, the companion of God and chiefest friend of Orion chief, the son of Jehovah. When the ship came to the bridge of Chinvat, and stopped to take in the plan of the whirling earth, Su said, "A light, you gods!" And at once, as high as the moon and bright as the sun, the illumined ship stood to overawe the self-gods, warrior kings, and murderers of the earthborn, whose plentiful souls in chaos polluted heaven. It says, for 3 days and nights, Su held his starship to the wonderful task of mastering by the marvelous scene. Now, the footnote says that through the spectacle of this enormous illuminated ship, Su gained the attention of low-grade spirits and mortals in such a way as to make them look up in awe and with fear, wonder, and caution. It says, then slowly he entered the vortex of the earth, holding his course, but not with the rotation of the earth and her heaven. For he desired that both Corporean and Atmospherian could witness the coming power. So slowly he came only 50,000 miles. Oh, look at this. Slowly he comes nearer to the earth. Slowly he came only 50,000 miles a day, so that when the ship neared the disorganized Horrid, the self-gods and self-lords fled and left their well-supplied kingdoms desolate. And down to the earth they rushed in thousands, and with their host and millions died or safely stole themselves from Agni's just hate. Okay, so Agni, the footnote, Agni means fire. In this case, Ethereal fire. The Ethereal fire can illumine all, so that if any darkness resides in the soul, it is plainly. It should be. Oh, it is. It says it is seen plainly by those around. Thus, thoughts and sentiments of, say, hatred and vile cannot be hidden in the light of the Ethereal Agni. And in turn, those of low grade can readily see their own deficiencies reflected in the light shining down upon them. To them might the light not seem full of searing hatred, yet with the power of justice underscoring the light, now, wouldn't that make it a different matter? The fright of seeing something like that. Okay, so they couldn't run, they couldn't get away from this light, or safely stole themselves from Agni, the illumined Ethereal light fire, from Agni's just hate. But the true God and Lord stood firm in their depleted kingdoms, fearing nothing. That's Euphrates. When this manifestation, it seems like it's saying, if something like that happens in this reality, we should know right off the bat, man. Our reflex should tell us, Thetis, the creator. Our reflexes. It says, but the true God and Lord stood firm in their depleted kingdoms, fearing nothing. But now I think that we will be shaken to the core, really. Some manifestation of a huge ship lit up like that in the sky. But in faith, that it says, but the true God and Lord stood firm in their depleted kingdoms, fearing nothing. But in faith, that this ethereal ship was Jehovah's answer to their long cry for help from the heavenly spheres. And by their pillars of fire still standing, great Su knew where to land the lower heaven for safe anchorage. So to Horeb he came slowly toward the throne of God. When he neared the place, his esnars chanted, and the trumpeters played, and the sound of the music came to the ears of God and his host. And they were hymns of more than 1,000 years ago. All right. It says, and God and his host sent up rockets, fireworks that displayed the three primary colors, yellow, blue, and red. Three primary colors, yellow, blue, and red. The sign of Jehovah's name and God's esnars joined in chanting with the host of love. Presently, the ship of fire was at the landing place. I'm making the sign of Jehovah because it says it here. Presently, the ship of fire was at the landing place, and Su, Jehovah's son, cast out a ladder and descended with his hosts, 100 million angels, led by Gasitibi, Marshalis of the throne of Su in Izaraka. Okay, let me see. Now, where does it pick up? Because it seems like it's going a long time. Okay, yeah, it is going to pick up. After verse 14, it's going to really pick up. The reason why I wanted to do this video. It says, Su said, Hail, O God of heaven and earth, in Jehovah's name. I have come in power and wisdom. And God answered, Glory to you, O Jehovah, that your son has come so far to bless your bewildered kingdom. Then they saluted with the signs of the sixth resurrection, after which God said, in the name of the Great Spirit, come and honor my throne. So Su went forward, and they greeted by shaking hands. And Su ascended and sat on the throne, saying, Keep your place, O God, for I have not come to displace you or your hosts of Jehovah, but to build up for his glory. Be seated, therefore, for I feel the light of the Father descending on my head. All right, now we're going to start picking up now to where we can really understand what's going on. Now, verse 15, it says, Presently the all-light enveloped Su, and the Father's voice spoke through him, saying, Hear the words of your Creator, my son, and rejoice, because I have not forgotten you and your people. Behold, this is the hour of your redemption from the trials of Tetrach, which run abroad in my dominion. See, he says this is the hour of your redemption. So if it happened for them, it happens for us, don't you think? The trial of the Tetrachs, man. The evil vibrations, vanity, what is it? The seven Tetrachs, love of evil, wicked devices, love of leadership over these things, joy of being bad. He says that's a time of trial. A trial of Tetrachs, which have run abroad in my dominions. Verse 16, was it not worse than this in the ancient days? And I came with my hosts and delivered them. I created man in darkness and gave him no judgment, so that the creation of his own thoughts might be for his own glory forever. See, he created us as a zero, he said, knowing nothing, having known nothing, so that we would lift ourselves up. He said, but instead of beautifying his thoughts, he listens to Tetrachs. And he clothes himself in clouds. We naturally decline. Why is that? Why do we decline in our spirituality and stature? Why don't we elevate the Tetrachs, the negative vibrations we have towards one another? He says, the heaven I build for him, let's read it again. He said, but instead of beautifying his thoughts, he listens to Tetrachs and clothes himself in clouds. The heaven I built for him, he digs to pieces and then builds his own, only to be displeased and turbulent. Nor will he content himself with providing with his own hands, but searches out my most dutiful sons and daughters and making slaves of them for his own exaltation. To me, this is talking about pastors. They live off of your donations, and they live deliciously. They live deliciously. To me, it sounds like that's what he's referring to here. He says, the heaven I built for him, He digs to pieces and then builds his own, talking about those. And I think he's talking about the spiritual leadership of the earth. I could be wrong, man. He says, the heaven I built for him, those who were charged with supposedly sharing the light, they dig that down to pieces and then they build their own kingdom. It says, but only to be displeased and turbulent, nor will he content himself with providing with his own hands. Won't work with his own hands to do for himself. The people who are supposed to be an example will not, who is basically worshiping himself, and he's deceiving the people, the sons and daughters. It says, behold, I have previously sent my sons and daughters to search out these traitors and self-gods. Okay, so he is referring to self-gods, declaring them that only declaring to them that only by forsaking evil and practicing righteousness could they attain my exalted kingdoms. Their evil places have I cast down and rebuilt in honor and glory, so that their own judgment could determine that virtue and good works are a sure foundation for happiness that will endure forever. But when I've raised them up in one cycle and made the lower heavens a paradise, alas, once my Ethereans have gone away for just a little while, the Tetraks take root, grow, and turn all things upside down. The Tetraks. Thank you, Angel of Water. The Tetraks. But now I will build them up in a new way. Yes, I will appropriate the evil of their inventions, applying this to their benefit in a way they do not dream of. So here, the false gods, they've torn down, they've engaged, they've gotten the people to engage in the worship of self-gods. And the Creator is saying he's going to use their craft and he's going to reverse what they have torn down. He's going to use the principles of what they did to deceive the people, and he's going to turn it against them for their own good. That's how the Creator is. It's always for the benefit of sons and daughters, and in general. There's just no negativity concerned with the Creator. Now he's going to outsmart the false gods to their benefit. They torn down what he built up for them, and he's going to turn around and use another way to reach false self-gods. It says, the false gods and false lords shall be arrested and brought before this judgment seat, and I will judge them by their own behavior and desires. But he says, neither will I torment them nor abridge their happiness. He's not going to take away. He's not going to torment the self-gods, and he's not going to decrease their happiness. He says, send therefore my son, your marshals, into the hidden places of these gods, and say to them, thus says the host of heaven, come, my son, inherit a kingdom in Hada in your own way, for lo, there is room for all. But so that you are not left behind, come quickly to Horeb. So he's going to send them to hell. Before he does that, he says, but come to the heavenly council first. Come to the heavenly council. So that you're not, so it's like the Creator is tricking the self-gods. Whereas they're thinking that they're going to go and receive a greater kingdom. It's like the Creator is saying, he's making them think that there's something greater for them that the Creator has. And so to get them to come, so the Creator is allowing them to think that way to get them to come to this heavenly council in Horeb. They think it's something totally opposite. Verse 19, and they will come hoping to embellish themselves in the old manner. See, they're embellish themselves, make their kingdom greater. It says, but my light shall come in due time in my own way. The voice ceased. But Su spoke on his own account, saying, what Jehovah has ordered, do so. Accordingly, marshals and priests were sent in all directions in Atmospheria to gather in the false gods and false lords who had deserted their dominions in the fear of the light of Su's Etherean ship. And after many days, the false ones were brought to Horeb, being 7,000 lords and gods. So they saw the light of the illumination of Su's ship. They fled. They were afraid. And they go to hide. And they were brought to the heavenly council. It says, now then, when they were before Su, Jovi's son, and arranged so that all could hear and see, including the whole council, the light gathered around the throne, and Su addressed them, saying, hear me, O men and women. I've sent for you, and you are here. And this I am pleased. Know then that what I speak shall be in love and tenderness. You have deserted Jehovah's kingdoms, and it must be because it pleased you better than to remain. Is that not true? And you also deserted your own false kingdoms. For a little while they consulted together and then answered, no, it did not please us to desert our own kingdoms, but we were afraid. Su said, who do you think I am? They answered, a god from some far off world. But where it lies, we do not know. We desire to know who you are. Su said, I am only a man. Do not fear me. But since you feared and also deserted your kingdoms, does it not prove that you are not the all-highest? And do you not perceive that because you had no all-highest, you were divided and inharmonious? So he's questioning the false gods. He's using gentle, persuasive reasoning that they are not the creator, they're not the all high, and that they serve somebody. Somebody is over them. Verse 26, he says, Hear then that which I say, and consider my words. I do not want your kingdoms or anything you have, but so that harmony may reign in heaven. I will give every one of you more than you had and increase your power also. So whereas the reason for Su, the god Su, coming to the red star, the earth, to their dominion, they think is to overthrow them. But he's going to turn around and bless them and win them that way, the false gods. He says, since you see I've come to Horeb, the throne of the ancients, do you not perceive that whoever accords me is my power also? Whoever accords with me is of my power also. Take then your kingdoms and be gods and goddesses as you assumed before, and I will anoint you and make you as part and parcel of one united whole. Again, they counseled together, then answered, why shall we take our kingdoms, our slaves? Well, he said, why should we take our kingdoms? Our slaves have deserted us. Our kingdoms are pillaged of all their value. Indeed, our slaves have become wandering spirits and have returned to the earth and are making their habitations with mortals, so that the people of the earth are aroused and because of miracles and wonders occurring on earth. So they're saying, Su is saying, come on, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make your kingdoms greater and united. And they're saying, what kingdom? We ain't got no kingdom. Their slaves are, we left. Now they're down there and rebellious, and they returned back to the mortals of the Corporeans, and they're showing them miracles and signs. And so we don't have no more influence with them. We have a footnote. It says persuade influence, which is footnote 359, persuade and influence. Okay, I don't see it, so I'm going to just keep going. Oh, right here. Sue said, what can you say to these wandering spirits that will induce them to come up away from mortals? Induce means to persuade or influence. He's asking the false gods, how are you how are you gonna bring the kingdom back? How are you gonna bring them away from mortals? It says, to which they answer, if we promise them provender, clothes, and plenty of rest, they will come. But when we put them to labor, having tasted of liberty, they will run away. So Sue was saying, how are you going to win your kingdoms back? What are you going to say to them? What are you going to do? He said, well, if we give them provisions for this footnote right here, provisions for food, drink, and nourishment, they'll come running. But if we talk about working, they'll run away. And then Sue said, how then did you make slaves of them in the first place? To which they answered, the day their mortal bodies died, we took them in, and they never saw or knew any other place in heaven. So we appropriated them to our service, and they dutifully obeyed. There it is right there, deity worship, idolatry, Christianity, Mohammedanism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholicism. The God you subscribe to is the God you're going to go to. Only then you're going to find out he's going to make a slave out of you. That's why the Creator is saying, get out of that. The times of this the times of this ignorance, God, he winked at, but now he commands men everywhere to repent. Commands men everywhere to repent. So he said, know then, this is my conclusion. First, that you shall all be made as sub-gods to one confederacy. Your kingdom shall be fair to look upon and well supplied with all things needed. Behold, there are on earth with the barbarians hosts of familiars and feudals. Whichever of you will go down to the earth and bring them away to Horeb shall have them as his slaves. And whoever brings the greatest number, I will award him the greatest kingdom. And if you can find emissaries to work for you and in bringing feudals and familiars away from the barbarians, and such labor shall be accounted to your credit. And in the corporal cities you shall station certain gods and angels whose labor shall be to receive newborn spirits on birth blankets and bring them to your kingdoms also, for they shall be your slaves. So now he's appealing to their desire for a great kingdom, to bring the grades up of the mortals and the familiar spirits and the feudals. But he hadn't told them how they're going to do it. He says, in that manner, Sue spoke to the false gods and goddesses, were highly pleased, and they divided themselves into certain districts over mortals and for the lower heaven, and were sent off at once to labor in their own way, and they were named sub-gods. Sue said, these sub-gods have much weight with the barbarians, because they advise them in war, but behold, it shall come to pass that when the sub-gods have robbed the barbarians of their familiar spirits, the Ihin priests will have a greater weight with them, and the sub-gods will desire to find favor in my sight. And so they will teach their slaves, and this will cause them to emancipate themselves in time to come. There it is. That's a beautiful reading right there. Chapter 3 that's another great, just the Creator. He basically, the summary, that will conclude the reading of this word. You gotta, the Creator he just wins. He's winning these fallen false gods over. In a way, he had to appeal to their vanity, but that was to win them over to his side, telling them, now you're going to work for me. Your kingdom's going to be greater than before. I'm going to show you how to bring back the unity that you had lost, how to win your people over. They're going to be your slaves, but you're going to tell them you're going to turn them over to the light, and you're going to win their confidence. You're going to win it. You're not going to beat them, abuse them, or torment them. That will conclude the reading of this word. If anybody wants to come on and share what you think about what we read, you have a thought or anything, feel free. Link is in the chat there. So, man, you know, the to summarize, I mean, you're talking about the world in this reading today because you got the distraction, you got the religion, you got the gods of this world, you have the deception. Except in this reality, it seems like, you know, one thing the Oahspe talk about is that you can tell how uh, the closer that a people are to a uh, judgment is by the lowering, the declining of their spiritual grade. It's easy to see when the government is overrunning the people, when there are wars, and the Creator, He, I mean, it seems like right now the Creator, He said that He gives boundaries to men so that they may learn, meaning He gives them these afflictions so that you would think they would turn around and say, hey, we had enough of this. We want to go another way. And we're in that situation right now where we haven't reached that boundary to make us want to turn back. If you look at the world, you can look at the world and learn where we are, our spiritual grade, and it's not good. It's too many voices, it's too many people, it's too many protesting, it's too much anti-government sentiment out there. If you're keeping up with what's going on in our reality, and if you look at it spiritually, that's the Creator saying you get closer. The lack of love of the light of His Word. I mean, we're faithless, and there's so few to. There's just no appeal. The word is not this word here. The sharing of this word. You see, even more powerful brethren. I mean, it's not really attracting the notice that they should. Brethren who are very gifted in proclaiming the light of this word. That's where we are right now. That's why I pray, man. I hope you brethren can continue to not faint, don't, to endure, that the Creator, He knows our situation. You can have, I mean, we got the tet racks, man. Don't forget the tet racks, man. Don't let us not forget the tet racks. Let us not forget that deity worship is swallow. I mean, it seems like we're in the cosmic era where these things should be dying off. That influence, it should, the Drooks, the Uzians, their numbers should be going down. I perceive that is the case because we've got the light, we've got this word, and darkness and light. They can't live together like that. The Creator, He said that may not seem like it now, but we are going to grow. He said year after year, the faiths will grow. The kingdom, the heavenly, the sons and daughters. I hope you, brethren, I hope we keep that in mind, man, because I'm telling you, this reality is tough. It's attacks on your faith every single day, man. Harder to find someone to worship, even to find, you know, even in that little room I have, I can tell brethren are tired, man. The little response that the word gets is, it's a terrible thing to me. And it tells me, like it says in the Bible, that the saints, that we're worn out. It's like we, I, I personally don't think we get together as we should. I know the Creator, He knows I know He sees what's going on. I hope He grant all of His strength, man, that He encourage our soul. I know that like the story we just got finished reading, when Sue came down in that ship, everybody ran, they fled for their life. That's how the world is. It's like a little revelation, if something like that happened in this reality, And the sad thing is that people wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what to do, man. The first thing they would do is run to church. The last place anybody should be. Run to church. And it would solidify people's faith in religion even more. When affliction happened, people they run right to them false gods, and they get even more sealed, bound in religion. I mean, something like, what we read about just now, the Creator, He allows that to happen. And it bears fruit for the churches and religions. And man, I'm telling you, we read it, man. You go to that false god and he makes a slave out of you. He makes a slave out of you. Wow, man. All right, man, that's it, man. That's conclude the reading of His Word. Everybody, if you want to come in, I'm going to give it like another 30 seconds, and then I'm going to shut it down if nobody, no takers. So, brethren, I hope that, check out that idea I had. If you know a brother or sister and they're struggling, maybe they need a side hustle or something. And I bet you a lot of people are doing that, man. You can buy those herbals, powder form, learn how to mix them, do a little research, see what herbals go for healing this or that, I mean, it's coming from the ground. So you're doing two things. Maybe you're a little on the, the financial side, and maybe you were in need, you know what I mean, of a little extra income. I thought that was a great idea. You can buy the powders, mix them. I mean, how much for this volume of water, how much for that volume of water, how many teaspoons here, and then you bring it all together and put it in a bottle and you sell it. Do a little study, learn what herb goes with what, I was thinking, man, if I wanted to do earn a little extra income, I would do that. Anyway, I just thought that was a good thought. I thought that was interesting. Brethren, thank you for joining me. I want to give thanks to the Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, for giving me the opportunity to do the best I can, try to be a light while I'm in this reality. And brethren, until I see you again, peace, love, and light. Shalom.